All right, so welcome everyone. This is our week 7 of our total body workout. We'll make sure we get a good workout in today. Um, no announcements, just next week will be our last week of our 8-week term, but that doesn't mean too much because I'll see you guys the following week with our other classes. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our warm up. So I'm gonna start my fitness tracker here and see how many calories we burned today. So let's go ahead and just look left to right. Today we'll be doing, I have a list. Last week was about 35 different movements. Today it's about between 20 and 23, but we're gonna try to do a second round of most of the exercises. Okay, so that's the schedule for today. Full body workout, up and down. And yeah, we're gonna be most of the movements will require dumbbells, your own body, and we will be doing most of them standing. So just have a chair nearby so you could sit down, and let's bring that right arm across. So you could sit down and catch your breath when you need to. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. Let's go ahead and switch. So our single arm windmills. So in reverse. Other arm. We're switching. Reverse. Let's go trunk rotation, so gentle, left to right. Silent or loud. Let's go ab circles. So back is nice and straight. Just hinge at your hip. Come across. Bump back. And repeat. Right. Big hula hoops. Just big hip circles. Oh, round and round. Switch. Just exaggerate those big circles with your hips. All right. Very good. Let's go ahead and do our hamstring stretch. So slide your hands down your shins, grab a hold of your ankles, drop your hips, and then pop back up. One more. Very good. A lot of pop in there. And then our last one is our deep squat stretch. So just drop down as low as you can. Keep your torso upright. And you just shift your weight left to right. You just shift left to right. Morning is newer. And then you can drop your knee down. I'm just going to alternate right here. And rise. All right. Very good. So yeah, so as mentioned earlier, hello Doris. Our workout's gonna consist of giant sets. Each giant set's about 5 or 4 different movements. We'll go through all, I think it's 5 giant sets. Once we reach to the end, back up, or at least go through the ones that we enjoy. Okay. So equipment for today, dumbbells, a chair. And that the chair, we won't just use it to sit down, but also for support as well. So just get those items handy. So if you want to go ahead and grab those items, go ahead and get them. All right, so yeah, so we're doing upper body, lower body, shoulders, arms, gonna get it all, okay? Have some water nearby in case we are getting thirsty. So our first round is gonna consist of dumbbell squats. So dumbbells at your shoulders or at your side, and we're gonna squat down and then back up. Then we have front raises, alternating front raises. So right here, we're just gonna alternate for those. Then we have a dumbbell swing, so like a kettlebell swing. Bent over rows, nice bend at the hip, bent over, and we're rolling up and down. And then we're gonna go with our standing overhead tricep extension. So back here and extend up and down. All right. So there are 5 lifts for this giant set. All right, so let's go ahead and grab your dumbbells. I'm gonna start off with the lighter dumbbells for these. Doing an upper body workout later, so I'm trying to start getting warming up that area. So dumbbells at our side, shoulder width apart. You can have your dumbbells here at your side or resting on your shoulders. Ready? Give me 12. 1. So breathe it. Inhale on your way down, exhale on your way up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome. Remember, for these, we're taking about 30 seconds rest. 30 seconds rest in between movements. Next one's going to be alternating front raises. Okay. All right, so alternating front raises, we're going to do 10 on each arm. Go ahead and grab your dumbbells right here and up. And switch. Okay, so shoulder width height. 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, and 10. All right. Very good. Morning, Mr. Ahmed. Okay. All right. Next one's our dumbbell swing. So remember, we have our dumbbell or our kettlebell. We start low. We're gonna kind of start in this swinging motion here, but then incorporate your hips and then really use your hips, okay? And it's that thrusting of the hips that's causing your arms and the dumbbells to swing, okay? So try not to use your arms too much. You want the movement of your hips triggering that swing, all right? So start prepping. Let's get the motion down. Once you get a swing going, then start counting. We're doing 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's our dumbbell swing. I don't felt funky on my hip. I think I irritated my hip over the weekend. Forget what I was doing. All right, our next movement is our dumbbell bent over row. So again, bent over, hinge at the hip, back is straight, arms down, pull up, down, up, down. Okay, that's where you're gonna jump this one. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get it. Bend over here and up, down, up, down. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Work. Catch your breath. We'll take about 90 seconds rest after this next one. So on this next one, if you want, you can do it sitting down. I'm just gonna have my chair here. And again, this is the tricep overhead extension. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and grip with my 2 hands, my dumbbell, elbows are next to my head, and I'm just extending my elbows up and down. Okay, make sure you don't have that dumbbell resting on your upper back. It should just be up. Yeah. So we need 10 to 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, dirty dumbbell. All right, very good. This is where we get our 90 seconds rest. Okay, so grab your water. It's a little bit longer of a break. So how's everyone doing so far? Not too bad, hopefully. Let's see, that's a male. I think it's that time of the year. What is Yep. It's my BMV car registration. Awesome. $175. Isn't that exciting? All right, we have 30 more seconds. So we're moving on to our next set. So it's going to be reverse lunges. So you could go body weight or dumbbells at your side. We probably just do body weight. I have my big leg workout tomorrow, so I don't want to be too sore for that. Then we have reverse overflies, reverse bend overflies. So here, and we're going out. So earlier we did the elbows into your side. This one, we're going and extending out. Okay, we have our single leg Romanian deadlift. So single leg elevated, going down. If that's too much, you can always put this back foot down, and that still applies a lot of pressure in that area. We're doing each leg individually. Then we're gonna do our dumbbells around the world. So that's when we curl up, rotate out, and then we extend on the outside, bring it back in. Okay, dumbbells around the world. Dumbbell shrugs, pretty easy on that one. And that's our 5 movements, okay? All right, so dumbbell lunges, we're doing 8 on each leg. Ready? So we're standing here and reverse and alternate, okay? If that alternating or reaching back it's too much, what you could do is always just have a more of like a stiff lunge here, and you could do that as well. But the alternating version does allow for a little bit more range of motion. So it might be a little bit better for that hip joint. So give me 8 on each leg. Remember, anything that feels funny or is causing discomfort, you might consider skipping. And 8 and 8. Awesome. All right, we have our reverse flies next. I'm gonna use my lighter weights for these. So again, bend over, hinge at the hips, dumbbells right below you, and extend out. That's our dumbbells reverse flies. 10 seconds. All right, folks, here we go. Ready? Grab those dumbbells and extend. So we're doing 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That hip is really acting up. Not to take it easy for some of the ones that are causing pain. Anything that I'm bending over, yeah, it's kind of irritating it. So, all right, we have our single Romanian deadlifts. So we'll see how this one goes for myself. So again, single leg, gonna be elevated and down with your dumbbell and then back up. If that's too much, like I mentioned, you could always step back and use that back leg for support. Okay, we're gonna do 8 on each leg. And this one, we're not alternating. We're just gonna do 8 first on one leg and then 8 on the other. Okay, ready? Okay, go. So side bend at the knee. Keep that dumbbell close to your legs the whole time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, I'm gonna switch. Ready, and begin. 1, so slide bend at the knee. Back is nice and straight. 2. 3. So on this one, I usually inhale my way down, exhale my way up. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Awesome. All right, we have our around the world bicep curls. Okay, so curl, out, down. Okay, we're doing 10 total of those. And then get a nice little pump on the arms. All right, here we go. Ready? Ready your dumbbells. So curl, out, down. 1, curl, out, down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, and they're heavy. 10. That was a good amount of weight. I had some 20-pound dumbbells on those. Shoulder shrugs. Okay, that's the last one of this set. Remember, shoulders are coming up and down. You're just holding the dumbbells at your side. So you can probably go with a little bit heavier weight on this one. Just grab those dumbbells, come up, and drop down, up, down. Okay, very good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's good. So 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 more. 11, and 12. All right. 90 seconds rest. Get those 90 seconds. All right. Great. So the next one, we are going to be sitting down. Okay. There's just one movement. We'll do our first one standing. That's going to be the dumbbell cross curl. But the 3 movements after that are sitting down. So dumbbell cross curls, overhead press. So again, sitting down. We're gonna then do seated calf raises. That's where we place our dumbbells right above our knees. And then after that, it's a 6-way shoulder raise. So that's where we go here, no, here, here, and up, and then down, here, back. Okay. So those 4 movements are what's coming up. How's everyone doing so far? Pretty good, pretty quiet. Everyone's focused.
I am cutting my class at 9:30. See you on Wednesday.
Oh, you have another class?
No, I'm not feeling. I got the COVID vaccine and flu and all kinds of
Okay,
things.
yeah.
I feel like not, not myself.
All right, Carmen. Yeah, listen to your body and yeah, rest up. So I hope you feel better.
Thank you. See you next Wednesday.
Okay, Carmen. Yeah. Guys, listen to your bodies. Don't overdo it. Okay. Our first one, oh, like I said, cross curls. So remember, this one's standing. I don't know why I sat down. So opposite shoulder. Okay. So just bring that dumbbell to your opposite shoulder. We're gonna do 8 on each side. Cross curls. It's like 30 pounds. Okay. So now our seated overhead press. Okay. So remember for this one, let's usually start if I have heavier dumbbells. I want to make sure my back is resting on the back of the chair. And to get the dumbbells up, I raise my leg and help my arms, the dumbbells here, and press. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, 2, inhale, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oof. Got me a little bit. Very heavy dumbbells. Each of those are 20. Okay. Seated calf raises are next. So again, so for this one, you don't want to place the dumbbells completely on your thighs or closer to your hips because that's taken away from where the weights are located above your calves. So you want those weights pretty direct over your heels. Okay. So usually place them up here. Okay. And give me 15 to 20. Okay, so just heels up. Thirteen, 14, 15, 16, heels up. 18, 19, and 20. Oof. Yeah, you'll get a, you could always put those on your thighs, but you're almost removing half the weight by doing that. So might as well just put them on your knees. Good work. All right, and then our 6-way shoulder raise, okay? So again, remember this one, we go here, then in front of you, and then up, then down, out. Right. Ready? We're gonna do 6 of those. Ready? And here, here. That's one. Takes forever, but raising your whole shoulder complex. 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6. Oof. Those are some light weights, but yeah, those will get you. Oh, and there is one more that we forgot. So this one's gonna be, okay, yeah, I don't know why I forgot this one. This one is the 1 1/4 lunge, okay? So if you remember this one, that's where we get in the split lunge position. So we do down, quarter up, down, and then up, and that's 1, okay? So we're gonna be doing 6 on each leg for that, okay? Remember? Again, I'll go through it. So we're here, and this is what it's gonna look like. 1, 2, okay? So 6 on each leg. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. You can feel that on that leg that's elongated. You feel it on that thigh. Ready? Let's switch. There you go. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Forgot about that one. That one's pretty taxing. Okay. So we got 90 seconds rest. Hopefully everyone else is feeling okay. Sure you're drinking water. All right, here we go. So our next set is four movements. All right. So we're reaching our last 2 sets. So dumbbell front raise. We're gonna have our palms facing the screen, holding the dumbbells, and we come up and then down. That's working on our pecs and on our shoulders. Okay, dumbbell squat clean thruster. Feet close together. Squat, curl, press. Okay, that's gonna be the clean thruster there. Poliquin lateral raise, just dumbbells here. And remember, curl, rotate, extend, down. Poliquin lateral raise. And then single arm upright row. So support yourself at the chair. And we're just bringing that dumbbell up to our chest. Okay, very good. We still have a few more seconds, but let's go ahead and begin. So our dumbbell underhand front raise. Okay, so again, just like the name says, dumbbell underhand is going to be facing the screen and front raise. So we're doing 12. Ready? Squeeze at the top. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 11, and 12. All right. Good work. Keep track of all my weights so I know how to progress later. Okay, so our clean thrusters, we're doing 8 of those. Remember, our feet are close together. We're gonna feet here, extend, curl, and push. Okay, so you're doing one of these, and these all together in sync. Okay, All right, folks. Doing good. Burning almost 200 calories right now. So, get it. All right, here we go. Ready? And begin 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last one, and 8. Harlequin lateral raises. Remember, hammer curl. Shoulders come up. Shoulders, elbows extend. And come back down. Okay? And we are doing 8 of those 10. All right, Miss Noor, Doris, Mr. Rahman, Miss Wen, Safina, Ramon. Let's get it. Here we go. Okay, go. So curl, shoulders up, elbows up, extend, and down. 1. Here, here, here. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Right. All right, single arm upright row. This is where we'll need the support of our chair. And remember, we're doing 10 on each arm for these. You're ready, then support, and then just up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. All
I
right.
have a question. What do you need to hold on the chair for?
So yeah, so almost how, remember when we do our seated neck stretch where we sit on our chair
Oh,
or our
okay.
mat and then pull, so it keeps that shoulder fixed. So sometimes when the weight gets really heavy, what could happen is you, instead of just doing this motion, let's start doing this.
Oh,
You see how
okay.
my left shoulder kind of drops? So it's almost like we're cheating a little bit because now some of the lift is coming from us leaning. So you see
Oh,
this motion?
oh, I see.
So if we're fixed, we can't do that. So that's the idea. It's you're preventing a few inches of like help, but it's really not helping you. It's just making the lift easier for you. But you're missing out on those couple of inches of, that could be the difference from here to here. So
Oh,
just the
okay,
same
thank
idea.
you.
Yep, no problem. Good question. I think I asked my friend that the first time I went to the gym. I was like, why do we do that? And then he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, here we go. So dumbbell reverse curls. This is going into our giant set, our last giant set. So reverse curls from now, our palms are going to be facing behind us. So make sure for this one, I think I've mentioned, wrap your thumb over the bar, not around it. So that's going to allow for easier motion with the curl. Then we have our 1 1/4 squats. So this one's similar to the lunge. It's here, quick pump, down and up. Okay, doing that. And then we're doing bicep curls, just regular bicep curls right here. And then we're gonna do standing Arnold press. So dumbbells here, rotate out, press, and bring them back. So those are the 4 movements we're working on right now. All right, let's go with the reverse curls to start off. So grab those dumbbells. Ready? And we are doing 12 of these. So, yeah, switch. I can't do 12 with those bigger ones. All right, here we go. And begin. So 1. So see, my palms are facing behind me all time. So this is what I mean. So this is wrapping them around and this is over. So when you have them like this, it's easier to keep the dumbbell straight. When you wrap them around, you have a tendency to go out. So you don't want to do that. They come straight up. 8, 1, 2, 1, and 12. So that's good burn. All right, we're gonna go with our squats. I'm just gonna go body weight squats because I could feel my hip getting a little bit tight. I wish I could just go in there and just fix exactly what it is. I don't know what it is, so I think that's why it's taking longer. All right, we're gonna do 10 of these. So quarter and squats. Ready? And begin. So down, halfway up, or quarter up, and then up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. Yeah, that's how we're doing 10. No, like that we're doing that. And bicep curls. Remember, just here. Regular bicep curls. We did reverse curls, now we're doing bicep curls. Grab those dumbbells. And give me 10 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And our last one is our standing Arnold press. All right, here we go. Here and rotate out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, very good. All right, 90 seconds rest, and then we're gonna go back to where we started. And we'll do some of the movements that that I think are worthwhile, okay? We'll skip the ones that don't give us a good stimulant or that's working out smaller muscles. We'll work out the ones that are bigger muscles right now. Okay. So like we just did squats. with the thrusters and with the quarters right now, so we'll skip the squats right now. But now we're gonna go back to the dumbbell front raises. So we did the front raises earlier. We're gonna switch them up and work out the shoulders a little bit on the outside, from the lateral side. So that's gonna be our next movement. Okay, so we got the front part of our delt, which is this circular muscle, almost like a dome on your shoulder. We worked out the front part, now we're gonna work out the side, okay? All right, here we go. Again, 10, ready, and begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, go for 12 if you feel good. 11, and 12. Good work. Okay, we're gonna go back to our bent over rows. Earlier, we did narrow stance. Now we're gonna go with the elbows spread out, okay? Working on the outside part of our shoulders, of our back, sorry. Okay. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. So out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oof. That was rough. Still felt it on my hip on that one. Okay. Overhead tricep extension. So that's gonna be overhead here. So same muscle idea of the triceps. We could do tricep kickbacks. Let's switch it up a little bit. Remember tricep kickbacks right here. I'm gonna use the chair for support. Okay, so just supporting yourself here. Elbow's gonna be at our side, and we're gonna extend that elbow or that wrist behind us. Okay, extending that elbow. Ready? 8 on each arm. Ready? So here we go. And again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll switch. Elbow to your side. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Work. 6, 3, 9, 30. Yeah. So we did dumbbell reverse lunges. Now we're gonna do dumbbell forward lunges, and these are gonna be alternating. So again, so lunge forward, come back, and alternate. Okay, we're doing 8 of those on each leg. So a total of 16. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Um, 1, 13. 14, 15, 16. Job. How's everyone feeling? A couple more exercises, or are we ready for a cool down? Good.
Couple.
Couple more? All right.
Yes.
So, alrighty, so let's go ahead. We just did our reverse lunges. So now let's go ahead and do our another set of reverse flies. So again, that's when we're bent over here, dumbbells, and we're going out. Okay. Grab those dumbbells. I grab the little lighter ones for this one. So 10 to 12. Ready? And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We have our dumbbells around the world. We rotate. Okay. We'll take a 90-second rest after this. Ready? Grab those dumbbells. And we're doing 8 of these. So curl, out, down, back in. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 90 seconds rest. We'll do like another 3 more and then we'll start with the cool down. Okay, so grab some water. Work. All right. Shoulder shrugs. This one's not too bad. Have your dumbbells. And remember up and down. So up, down, 2, 3, 4. Give me 12 to 15. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Work. Got 2 more. Okay. 2 more. So, do you folks want to finish on the floor with the yoga mat? Not sure if you have them accessible. All right. If not, then hear a response. Let's go ahead and do our chair squats. Okay. So this is good for balance. We'll finish off with this one. This week we work on our balance. So remember our chair squats. And let's work on our single leg squats, okay? So extend one leg or elevate it. So we're here and 8 on each leg. Ready? And begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Ooh, leg a little tired. Switch. Ready? So cut your breath and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And all right, folks, let's cool it down. How many calories? 270 calories. Pretty good. I'll take that any day. Okay, let's call it a cool down. Let's go ahead and start with some of our regular stretches. So sit on that left hand, come over here, and stretch that left shoulder, left neck. Switch. Right hand. Bring that left foot on that right knee. Very good. And let's get almost 10,000. Oh no, I screwed up on it. Doesn't make sense. Oh, I guess it does. Lift it close to 10,000 pounds in accumulated weight throughout the workout. Pretty good amount. Let's push down on that knee. Gentle push. And up. Slug it out. Switch. So right side. Here. How's everyone feeling?
It's good. It's a good day for exercise, even it's on a Monday.
Yes, I know. It's Mondays could sometimes be very unmotivating, but you start them like today and you feel accomplished. So let's push down, gentle push down, not too rough. Lining up. That's all right, folks. Good job. I have 275 calories since the moment we started. I'll take that. That's like going for a 3-mile walk.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone. Any questions before we leave?
I was in the Vegas.
Oh, the team did okay. Yeah, a lot of my runners improved their time. My best male runner, he had a silly race. He went out too fast, and then he was too tired to finish strong. So, but we did okay. I think we could have done a little bit better, but it was a good day. Sometimes there's days where we travel very far, and the team might be very unlucky, and then we just don't do what we were expecting. But and we come back home very sad or upset. But this time, yeah, I think we're happy with our outcome. So yeah, it was good.
Julio, todo bien, Julio, gracias.
Okay, guys, take care.
See
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Bye, Espina, Ramon,
Bye.
Noor,
Gracias.
Bye, Doris.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, folks. Have a good week.